Comms.
On screen.
Welcome back, folks. Let's see who's on the shuttle. By the way, this is Protagonist Corner. I'm Jonathan. That hasn't changed yet. So, let's see who we have here. Ooh, somebody's having trouble. We sold this last time. Somebody's having trouble here. We still don't know who it is.
It won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening. Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull the...
Well, you're really late. You should have done that first thing. You don't even try transporting the storm. I know, I'm a truck emitter. It's okay.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Well, look at my job, so...
You sure? I'm sure.
You don't. He just has a beauty mark. He's fine.
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
So, let's walk onto Mr. Shuttle here. There it is, Bazinga. Yes, I'm a big legendary fan, so what? It's a good show. I wish they had only have to. I love it.
We're pulling in debris. I'm on it.
Let's get rid of this debris. Okay, keep it in the circle. Circle. Yeah. There we go, that one's going. Get rid of. Now, give me a hover for it. We're done. It's okay. The shuttle can die.
That's gonna take out the shuttle.
Diaz, the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Ryder, plot an intercept course.
On it.
So where are we going? Oh, over there, okay. Alright. Oh yeah, there it is, okay. I can see it's fine, it's totally fine, I can see it. And off we go.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Whoa! Sure, the captain gave up our body, not his body, our body, to save one guy on the shuttle. He gave up. What are we doing here? And this. And this. Well, anyway, he gave up thousands of bodies to save like 2 of them. Doesn't seem to compute. But sometimes it's right to think that we're going to see who's going to spread out right now.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Somebody's Spock-tacular, that's right.
So to speak. Ambassador Spock.
And it turns out to be a pretty good Leonard Nimoy impression. This was either done before he died, but I don't think it's the case. Or, it's a pretty good like, AI impression.
Right down to meet you, sir.
Hi, Sky. You want to go on the video? Yes, my dog. Our dog just walks in. And out immediately thereafter. But the door's open now, so get ready for that. Yeah, let's start with that.
That was a bumpy ride. Are you all right, sir?
There are some elements of space travel that I would prefer to have left in my youth. But I am, at present, unharmed by the ordeal.
That's good news.
It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon, if I may say so.
Well, it wasn't all me. I got some help from upstairs.
A bombastic approach to clearing debris. We thought we were...
Yeah, I know, it's a little weird that we risked the entire ship.
Deserted, my craft was not
I'm not
sufficient
gonna
to
deny it.
such intense ionic
In
activity.
fact, I did tonight earlier.
Storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no fault.
So I guess you can call it engine trouble.
What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
I'd rather investigate than speculate.
A sound principle.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical. Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
Ambassador Spock,
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
That's never good. Prelude to war, never good.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
Yes, but you know you're a
didn't
legendary.
mean to suggest-
You're half human. You know exactly what she means.
You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
We're all curious about the future, Ambassador. Specifically, what exactly are we getting involved in here?
We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Lydia and Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illydians have shared a mining operation there. The Illydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the mines against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace, and one that I hope we can uncover during these negotiations. But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Illydian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
Well, yeah, we also want to go through this.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. peace is our objective, after all.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Illidians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Illidians as a source.
Oh, I got ahead of you. Sorry, folks. This is why playing ahead can be a bad thing.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
We could use that as leverage with the Illidians. They'll want the Federation to continue buying from them.
There might be something to that, Commander.
Putting that on the table could make the Hotari more hostile.
Given the Federation's involvement in the Illidian dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Illidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
That would also explain the Illidians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught at a disadvantage of our own. So I trust you understand our circumstances.
Oh, that's
We're
right.
operating on a strict timetable here. We're going to be leaving for negotiations. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity,
So basically that's either 4 or 5 or 5 and 6.
Commander Ryder could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly knows how to say the right things. At least when she wants to. It would be unconventional, but I'm not opposed to it.
I'm honored to be included in the negotiation process.
You're not just included, you are instrumental.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Well, we are the protagonists, so that's kind of expected. Or the protagonists, plural in this case. Exiting mode.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock.
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him.
You just got
Especially when I
Vulcans.
have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
When you look at it logically, yes, it is just a shuttle. No different than any of the others.
There is plenty that is different about it, and that is what you are to investigate. But please limit your findings to observable scientific phenomena.
Walking twice in one conversation.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
Even Chobok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking.
You've pulled me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Okay. At the very least, maybe I can track down that bottle of Saurian brandy you're still on the hook for.
I feel like it's supposed to mean
But
something.
first, we have work to do.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Hi, the computer does my job basically by itself. At least when Jonathan Button correctly does.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation.
That's a little creepy.
Knowing you two as well as I do, I thought you'd jump at the chance to, take it to the next level. Why'd you tell her you just wanted to be friends?
Because that's what I
I
want.
was surprised to hear that. I mean, we already know you like her. Not that far off to like her like that.
Because I do think we should just stay friends. I don't want to do anything to mess that up.
Fair enough. I get it. And a direct, honest answer is gonna make it a lot easier to stay friends. Just, when you see her, don't make a big deal of it. And
Well, you're making a bigger deal with me, my friend.
Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. Relays along the primary EPS are gone. Backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something. Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Subspace variance out of tolerance.
Techno-babble.
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Okay, that's not
The array going
techno-babble.
offline
When
caused
your
that?
ship gets twisted,
Yes,
it's a real
but it
problem.
should have also thrown a fault code.
Well, I'm thinking, how is this different from a fault code? Bigger Trekkies than I am, help me out here.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow.
That didn't
They're
sound
lucky the
good.
shuttle
Sounds
didn't turn
engine
inside
go
out.
boom.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Okay, if the computer's AI, I'm horrified. I'm leaving this universe. Computers should not panic. I missed. I should probably turn this up. Oh man, there we go.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
How are these warning about
Maybe one of
fault
these
codes? It
failures
really
should
bothers
be the
me.
fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variants out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
My
Divide
original
and
guess
conquer.
was all goes to
Want to check the
Bravo.
warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the navigation array.
Yes, try for it inside. Green glowy thing. Must scan the green glowy thing. Why you just can't green glowy thing? There's no way you scan the green glowy thing. Why is it not cooperating? It should be cooperating. It's in. I probably should have read something that I didn't read, but oh, I'm gonna go over there. our kid, people. Was that huge fry? Who's racing? Who's still on the race? Now, I think I'm already even playing this as we have. Oh my gosh. I'm choosing to take that sarcastically.
I'm sure I could handle it myself.
No doubt about it.
Hey, Barris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always meet in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That
I hear it's so nice this time of year.
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole steam engines were the warp drives of their day part.
Oh, so that's the one cool thing so I'm interested in. Like Tom Paris is interested in old sci-fi, the car was interested in archaeology, and what became it?
I do have to go.
Oh yeah, Leonardo da Vinci. Not 20th century art, Leonardo da Vinci. And you share the car was also in Shakespeare.
So I'll catch up with you tonight. And we can just
with us.
Go back to what it was like before.
I'll be right here, waiting.
You have a shuttle to put back together. Or something. Be seeing you.
How was that trip?
That went well enough. It'll be fine. All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to
take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now.
Lefty. You almost boomed the planet there.
Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However,
So broken
the
things
Resolute
so
computer
broken.
doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility. And it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would
Okay,
have gravity
actually, let's
for
talk for a
days.
second. Technobabble is fine once you get it, because we don't really need to understand what's happening, we just need to understand the basic chromatic situation. But when you're playing a video game, you need to know what the problem is so you can effectively solve it. At least when it's a narrative adventure game like this is, or even a puzzle game. Well, especially a puzzle game, but like, so they should really keep the technobabble to a limit. That's why I always point it out that way. Anyway.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there.
That doesn't sound good.
Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Question: Why isn't Starfleet just handled by computers and robots? They just ask the computer to do everything. I'm asking this as a Trek fan, but I still see the problem, particularly in a video game setting.
What if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine.
Unless they're identical, it's not going to work just fine because changing one machine for another creates too many variables. At least I would think so if this were a real thing. But then this whole thing is just technobabble.
Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
For the record, I wish real computers were that fast.
Static field intensity warp 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Warp pressure is destabilized. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system.
Hello, Lenore. I hope you guys can hear that.
Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Yay! She said the thing from the old movie. Cochrane, you better report travel.
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
Uh-oh!
Atari space.
Completely obvious problem is now known for some reason. I don't know why it wasn't known before, but you know it now. I said this place would be a nice place, would be nice this time of year. I'm beginning to think that's not true, unless you're like high elevation and illuminati. And a bunch of stuff for dignitaries.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you have come. My name is Tyler Saltaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The Empire's hours. This is Commander John Rydick, First Officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illidians.
It's very nice to meet you.
Likewise, I hope...
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation.
Ooh,
The
interruption.
reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But, either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Let's hope this is the last time we'll have to come here.
The older brother from the trail.
If you'll excuse me.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? Didn't know what we're walking into here. That guy was something.
That may be true. But let's keep an open mind going into the negotiations. Hopefully he's just one voice amongst many.
Then let's hope he's the outlier.
The Hotari have invited us as their guests, so we must show them the proper respect.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Illidian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you
I think we're
will
going
be
to
silenced. His point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict.
So, I like to imagine they had a cinematographer. He kind of took the day off and decided, let's let the player handle this cutscene. I don't feel like directing this today.
Your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but it's not easy. I
Let's
thought
hold
they
that.
wanted us here.
Yeah, it's true.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Polyard?
She's not
She
part
can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Step up to the throne, basically. So cool. So sorry. Could have just stood there, but no, steps right up to the throne.
Now then, one should know their place. What you might be somewhere else is not what you are here. Which is standing before a queen. And a queen deserves respect. A bow is not too much to ask. Is Hotari Prime part of the Hotari system?
My apologies, Your Majesty. I meant no disrespect.
Better. You are Kobliard. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliard is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable. Not unlike how we have been treated by the Alidians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Alidians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliard suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate peace?
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
You may be right. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but it's really not my place to say what the Federation's interests might be.
You are their representative.
I am.
One of several. I didn't let my people miss it. One man authority of one. That's what you should say.
But Ambassador Spock is better suited to address your concern.
Well, that's close to what
The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Alidian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies. The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on town?
Awkward.
Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Alidians?
Really awkward. It's one or the other.
Only be one or the other, not both.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
Then you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again.
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
It's been a pleasure, Commander Rydek.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure using you as sort of control over the situation.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
Okay, this is going to be a fun conversation.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I knew the
Back in the
Federation would see through the Illidians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
To be clear, I'm not on either side of this conflict. Our only interest is peace.
I will keep that in mind.
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Illidians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Illidians could even realize their worst nightmares upon them.
Were the Hotari miners armed during the revolt? I'm just trying to understand how it happened.
If by that you mean armed with centuries of abuse and exploitation at the hands of...
Actually, that's not what I meant at all, but thanks for the question.
Which doesn't really answer my question.
Yeah, exactly!
We had them vastly overwhelmed from the start. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Illidians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
It wasn't designed as a warship. More for scientific research and exploration.
But the Federation must have ships designed for war.
Technically, they're Starfleet ships representing the Federation. But yes.
Well, yeah, that's basically what it's like. Starfleet is the Federation and vice versa.
Sidron. A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Captain and Ambassador have it handled. I've got my own mission.
True.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality. As does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So,
Why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Elydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. But clearly, you weren't aware.
Tau and the mines belong to the Hotari. They deserve to have control.
You overestimate their ability to run the mining operation. They have no idea what they're doing. The Major Solid Arminta, Special Attaché, Elydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, very convenient anomaly. At least.
Pause for a second because the long Norris and fly 3 guys fly. Okay, anytime you guys go.
That was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
Something tells me there's more to the story. So what really happened?
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of miles? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. And somehow, the miners were able to harness the energy of the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
The energy readings we've seen are off the charts. There's no way they'd be able to somehow harness it. That sort of technology doesn't even exist.
I know. I felt the same way. But each person told the same story. If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Commander, if I could have a quick word with you.
Of course.
I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people.
Again, back is
without your help.
The Elydians have no right to your land. It was clear which side was more deserving of our recognition.
It's so different to have someone on our side. These are unusual times, to say the least. Much is changing. I saw you speaking with the Elydians.
Any other mission, I would have gotten over the radio trouble.
The Elydians are under the impression the Hotari are somehow the cause of the ion storm.
Which I'm sure they attribute to our lack of experience or sheer inferiority. But we are as much the victims of this horrific storm as they are. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Calvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I get the sense you don't exactly trust them.
They're miners, not diplomats. I don't trust their instincts.
Civil War.
My fear has been that the Elydians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Was it for fear of the repercussions, once the Federation became part of the equation?
Possibly. But I almost want to say this was from the very start. before engaging the Federation was even on the table.
The problem was the storm. You're just taking that one.
Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
What do you think it is?
I've heard rumors it's some sort of ancient artifact, but I haven't seen it myself.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this.
Should have been
You can
played
use it to
first.
capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Such rough terrain. No wonder the Hotari are so tough.
You're saying that out loud and not just thinking it? That's interesting. Internal monologues are internal for a reason, right? They should be.
Soothing.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Elydians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
It is evident that presently the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself?
So basically,
You're saying something about this region of space
creator or creative
prevents
force
warp
is
travel?
stick. I don't see that.
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
Couldn't we slowboat it out of here at impulse speed?
It may come to that, but we don't know how far this warp dead zone extends. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clear picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
I'm setting up a waypoint at a distance roughly corresponding to the edge of our warp field. When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Commander Westbrook, the Resolute systems are calibrated to receive the probe's readings. We are standing by to reproduce the warp field collapse after the first probe is deployed.
Thank you, Mr. Chovak. We'll be in position shortly.
And, Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft. Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joyriding.
I wasn't feeling joyriding today. I wasn't feeling...
Chovak probably isn't such a fun guy to work
Thanks for joyriding. I know I'm too old military thing, but...
Nah, Lieutenant Commander Chovak's not so bad. You know,
he's not so good.
once you get used to him. And,
of course, that doesn't say anything about my own to get used to him.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to work harder to be a political animal like you. This new first officer coming aboard.
Just win that one. Oh, he said, and this green lost my spray. That would be bad.
This is far enough. This is far enough.
Glitch. What are that? 6, 7?
Westbrook here. First probe is deployed.
Understood. We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
I'm just not getting any traction with her. Commander Rydek. She rejected my plan to use a deflector to stop the storm surge. She didn't listen to me when you were out on the hull. For you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the new XO. I'm sure she's a fine officer, even if we don't see eye to eye. But she didn't go through what the rest of us did. You know that. And it's hard to figure out why she'd be the one Solano chose instead of, well, one of us.
I've heard some good things. You should at least give her a chance.
I'll take that under advisement.
Testing warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, mark.
Yeah, that probably doesn't go well.
All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get another probe out there. With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there. Listen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice I wish someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. Don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydek showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer.
Right now, based on what you're doing, I think he's right.
Crap. I mean, we'd said that about Shoba.
Sure. Well, if you're asking, I think you're a people person. After all, you
I'm the time here. This is interesting because we're mid-chapter. So, where am I? I'm about, wait, an hour.
You're more than an hour.
Okay, yeah, so we do need to stop here. Worst case scenario, we'll play to the beginning of the shuttle mission next week, but still, I think we've made a lot of progress here. We'll see if we can get around this storm and what other challenges this adventure brings. See you then.